the Real Wargamer, here with Rebel Yell. This is Module 2 scenario, White Oak Swamp. Make sure I get that right. White Oak Swamp, yeah. I'm liking what I'm seeing here, and this the play experience continues to give me the faint reminds me faintly of my experience with the Death Ride series, and that's a very positive thing. So I guess at the very least, I know I like these kinds of games. Okay. Player 1 is the Union side. Here's my little reminder. Player 1, but per the scenario instructions, we're going to start game turn 1 with a segment F, which is P2 action, so that's Confederate action segment, and the reinforcement 4-1 regiment is coming on the east side of the map as well. I'm going to conduct this segment, and I'll only come back if something worth commenting on happens. But before I do that, I do want to start by reviewing some of the new stuff for Module 2. So there is nothing new. There's nothing new with respect to... Well, I guess there is a new action, assault. Obviously, we're not assaulting here on the first, at the start of the scenario, because the forces aren't near each other yet. But there is a new action, assault. Let's go. There is nothing new about movement. Not movement per se, although of course there is advance and en passant fire. Let's go with command control is determined at the beginning of every friendly action segment. So that's now, so I guess this is a good time to talk about command control and then by extension the regimental flags. So let's go in order of command control first, because that's what we're checking. Obviously we assume everybody's in command control, but we still want to review it. Command control is determined twice every turn for friendly units. So this is the player 2 action segment or the Confederate action segment. So we're checking Confederate command control units not stacked with or adjacent to their flag are out of command control. That's why I have the regimental flag center mass. Units in command control function normally, so everybody on the board is functioning normally. Units out of command control suffer the following effects. They may not assault, they may not enter an enemy zone of control, they may not enter an MFZ, that's the minimum fire zone. Their morale is reduced by 1. Okay. Is that on the morale? Yeah, it is. Morale modifiers, out of command, okay. Units that are out of command control but that had begun the segment in an EZOC or MFZ are not obligated to move out of it. They may remain in that EZOC or MFZ. Okay. Other than the above restrictions, a unit's ability to conduct actions is unaffected by command control. Make sure units that are out of command control are marked with no comm or no command chits. So we have Confederate, just the text, no command there, and we have Union versions as well. Okay, so what? Yes, everyone is in command control. Oh yeah, regimental flags. What's going on here? Historically, the regimental flags, we're talking about these guys here. They by the way, they have a front side, like that, call it a full color side, and then they have a grayed out side. That is, the flag itself is grayed out. Now, where we're at with Module 2 rules, they remain on their front side. We're not using the back side yet. The back side means something. As a matter of fact, the back side means something like, no command for the regiment as a whole. So that's in command side, no command side. But again, at this level, how do they word it? They word it as, where is that? I thought I saw that. Where did I see that? Use only the full color side in this module. Okay. All right. Flags and stacking. Okay, wait. Let me start with the background. Historically, the regimental flag was the rallying point of a regiment. In an age without radio, when the regimental commander's voice would not carry above the din of battle, the flag was a visual marker by which the regiment knew when to stand and fight or when to advance or retreat. The regimental commander is assumed to be with the flag at all times. Note that flag units are double-sided. Okay, they have a full color and a gray tone side. Flags and stacking. All regiments have a flag that should be placed on its appropriate unit or units. Flags may never be hidden. That's why I have them on top. They're supposed to remain on top. That is placed under a combat unit. Flags are always placed on top of a unit or stack. A flag always accompanies routing units that had been stacked with it. Flags and combat. Flags have no combat strength, and add nothing to the combat value of a unit or stack. Flags have no movement allowance. They must be carried from hex to hex. Any unit of a particular regiment may carry its flag. Flags may never be carried by units of a different regiment. Transferring the flag. Before a unit or stack moves, it may transfer the flag to an adjacent hex with the appropriate combat units. Okay, so on and on. It can be transferred. Routed units may never transfer the flag, etc., etc. If all the units it's stacked with are eliminated, the flag is automatically transferred to the nearest combat unit of its regiment. So you have the automatic transfer upon loss of units. Losing the flag. Flags are removed from play when all the units of its regiment have been destroyed. Flags may never be voluntarily abandoned. Flags may never be captured nor destroyed. Okay, flags in command control. Okay, a unit is in command control if it is stacked with or adjacent to its appropriate flag. Units may never be placed in command control by a flag from a different regiment, except that routed units are always out of command control regardless of the presence of its flag. Flags, morale, and rally. A routed or disrupted unit or stack that is carrying its flag automatically rallies, but must still execute the rally action. Automatically rallies. All units stacked with their flag. All units stacked with their flag have their morale increased by 1. All units stacked with their flag. There it is. Unit stacked with flag +1. Okay, so that really is the center of action for the regiment. Yeah, okay. So there doesn't seem to be any reason to shy away from. These aren't flags that you have to go out of your way to protect. Yeah, they're not, because they're gonna just keep transferring anyways until they're only lost when the entire regiment is eliminated. Yeah, okay. So it is the regimental flag, but it's also the regimental command group, commander and command group, and it's also the center of operations. Okay, it's kind of all those things in a sense. Okay. Now I think we can do so. This is the Confederate action segment. Obviously, well, yeah, still at module 2 of the rules, the Confederates are just going to advance here. Advance on by column here, regimental columns, I guess you could say. All right, there's been some really ineffective fire back and forth as these forces move towards each other. We're in the player 2 or Confederate action segment at the very end of turn 2, and we had the situation where the earlier the Union in the center here these three companies fired on these companies and caused them to become disrupted. And now it's so this is the first example of what I mentioned earlier, a routed or disrupted unit or stack here that is carrying its flag automatically rallies but still must execute the rally action. So this is the Confederate action segment. They are conducting rally, but it's automatic that they get back into good order, but that's their action. Now, well, actually they want to close. Do they want to close the distance or not? Yeah, let's have our first No, I'm not going to do this just to exercise the rules. I'm going to wait to get this regiment up, and then we'll close to adjacent. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, now the Confederates. It is player 2 action segments. That's the Confederates. These guys have moved up online. Now, these first two Confederate companies are going to advance here. Like that. And now that should be the MFZ of this stack here. So, we'll go over all this. Friendly fire that occurs during opposing movement action is either advance or en passant fire. I think this is advanced fire, but let's see. Minimum fire zone. All unrouted units have a minimum fire zone that extends into adjacent frontal hexes. I think that's just for module 2, by the way, but we're still just, all units are equipped with smoothbore muskets. I believe smoothbore muskets for stand to maneuver, which again, all units are in stand to maneuver. We're going to get to lots more variation later, I think. So I think for smoothbore muskets, for stand to maneuver, it's a MFZ of 1. Only unrouted units have an MFZ. Disrupted units do have an MFZ. Players should note the difference between a fire zone and a minimum fire zone. A fire zone extends out from a unit's front. Obviously, here's the stack. Their front is out this way, etc., etc., etc. Movement into or out of a unit's MFZ will usually trigger fire from that unit. So they moved into this stack's MFZ, so it should trigger fire. A unit may execute advanced fire as many times as it is eligible in a segment. It may advance fire at more than one unit in a segment, including units that enter a hex whose occupying units had already been subject to advanced fire, including units. Ooh. All units eligible to advance fire at an enemy unit may do so, even if the first fire caused that enemy unit to rout. Wow. A unit moving laterally or retreating through an MFZ will not allow that. We're not doing that here. The advanced fire and normal fire procedures are identical. The firing unit receives the +1 advanced fire line modification. So that is checking on the firing unit status, right? Advance. Wait. I guess target status. So easier to fire on. Okay. The firing unit receives the +1 advanced fire line modification on the CRT. See the fire combat additions below and the fire rules section. Okay. Alright, this is not en passant fire. We'll get the advanced fire markers. Here's the Union advanced fire marker ready to go on after. Place advanced fire markers on units that execute advanced or en passant fire. They are placed as soon as the unit executes either type of fire. Units that have an advanced fire marker receive a -2 fire line modification when firing. So I assume that's for all subsequent fire. Okay, units with advanced. So how do we do this? Okay, so advanced fire chits are removed at the end of every friendly action or small arms segment. So that would be removed in the next Union action or small arms fire. Wait. End of every friendly action or small arms segment. During a friendly action segment, units with advanced fire markers may fire. However, they suffer the -2 fire line modification. Okay. Oh, okay, I guess that's it. So it's really not that complicated. The unit moved into the minimum fire zone, and it's going to be, okay, so now they're adjacent. Now the fire multiple or range factor is 4 for the Union. Ooh, this is going to be pretty harsh. So now we got 3 strength, unit strength. 3 unit strength times 4 for the range factor is 12. Minus 0 hits by 12. There it is. So 12. That's it. Okay. So that is the 12. This is what I'm looking at, by the way. Here's the CRT. So I'm starting on the 12 to 14 line. Everything from here on is not an adjustment to this number. It's not an adjustment to the firing factors. Once I get my line, this is where I'm computing the fire factor. Then I'm starting on the 12 to 14 line, and all of these line modifiers are up and down. And that's, up or down by the number of line, not the number here. I read a game description the other day where they definitely made it sound like you're continuing to adjust the fire factor. You're not. Okay, so what do we have here? Line modifiers. They are in the clear. Oops. It's a mess. They are in the clear. All right, so clear is +1. I keep forgetting. +1. Stonewall, dug in, breastwork, flanked, advance. There's the advance. So they get another +1. Charge, skirmisher, undercover, density. It's only 2. That's not enough. Mounted cavalry. The firing unit status. Disrupted, no. Advanced fire marker, not yet. Standing to fire, no. They're standing to maneuver. Volley, whites of the eyes, and undercover. I don't think whites of the eyes applies yet to module 2 rules. So I guess it's +2. So it's up 2 levels, up 2 lines. So we'll start in the 12, 14, 1, 2. So we're on the 18 to 21 line. That's the line that we're resolving the fire combat on. And we still want, we want as low as possible. So a 3 is right there, which is a, here, I'm trying to get there, right there. It is a 1. So, okay, so it should be 1 for the top. Oh, not again. Yep. Okay. And then there should be disorganization check, which is now going to be the morale modifiers, because this is a disorganization check. So it's the Confederate disorganization check. 4. They're probably good, but let's see. Their morale by the scenario is 6. It is 6, yes. -1 for the O hit is 5. No, that's it. Okay, so they pass with a 4. So they pass their disorganization check. Okay. And we mark them advance fire like that.